Indians set to benefit as PM Carney keeps Canada's immigration cap steady. Canada's immigration strategy is undergoing a pivotal shift under new leadership. With Prime Minister Mark Carney at the helm, the Liberal government is recalibrating its approach to population growth, skilled migration, and diplomatic relations, particularly with India. As public pressure mounts over housing and infrastructure, and global partnerships become more critical, Carney's vision sets the tone for Canada's next chapter on immigration, trade, and international cooperation. If you are interested in this topic, to get all the information, pay attention and watch the video through to the end. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. Canada's immigration landscape is entering a new chapter as the recently re-elected Liberal government under Prime Minister Mark Carney signals continuity in policy balancing population growth with economic sustainability. Facing increased public concern over infrastructure pressures and housing shortages, Carney is expected to uphold existing immigration caps while focusing on strategic adjustments. Immigration cap targets and temporary resident limits. A central element of the Liberal plan is to cap the combined population share of international students and temporary foreign workers at under 5% by 2027, down from the current level of 7.3%. Canada's total population stands at approximately 41.5 million. This cap aims to curb the unsustainable influx that Carney acknowledges has outpaced the country's capacity to absorb newcomers effectively. In addition to this, the government plans to stabilize permanent resident admissions below 1% of the national population beyond 2027. The targets are clear: 395,000 new permanent residents in 2025, 380,000 in 2026, and 365,000 in 2027. Indians remain a priority in immigration strategy. India continues to be the top source country for both immigrants and international students. In 2024, more than 130,000 Indians gained permanent residency in Canada, a 9% decrease from 2023. The decline reflects new controls rather than reduced interest. Meanwhile, Indian students represent the largest cohort of international students, with over 420,000 enrolled last year. However, only 190,000 new study permits were issued, a 32% drop, in line with efforts to manage temporary resident numbers. Skilled immigration and global talent focus. A revamped global skills strategy program is at the heart of the Liberal approach. It is designed to fast-track work permits for high-skilled immigrants. Under Carney's leadership, enhancements are expected to prioritize tech talent, healthcare professionals, and engineers. Furthermore, the government is working with provinces to better recognize foreign credentials, improving labor market integration. India-Canada reset on cards as Mark Carney takes over. What it means for Indian students, visa, employment, trade and diplomacy. Mark Carney's election as Prime Minister of Canada could mark a dramatic shift in strained India-Canada relations that deteriorated under Justin Trudeau. For India, this change in leadership opens a window to recalibrate diplomatic, economic, and immigration ties with one of the top destinations for Indian students and skilled workers. What went wrong under Trudeau, from Niger to visa chaos? India-Canada ties hit rock bottom in 2023 after Trudeau accused the Indian government of involvement in the killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The fallout was immediate: diplomats were expelled, visa services were suspended, and both countries stopped talking. Now, with Carney at the helm, India sees an opportunity to turn the page. He has avoided direct reference to the Nijjar issue, instead calling for mutual respect to resolve strains on the relationship, which is a major departure from Trudeau's confrontational tone. India is incredibly important. Carney's outreach. Carney's language has been markedly different. Just before polls, he said India was incredibly important personally, economically, and strategically. His presence at a Ram Navami event during the campaign was seen as a symbolic olive branch to India and Canada's 1.8 million-strong Indo-Canadian community. Observers say Carney's desire to reduce economic dependence on the U.S., especially under a second Trump presidency, is pushing him to strengthen ties with key partners like India. Why this matters for Indian students and professionals. Canada is the top destination for Indian students, but the dream is fading fast. 2023, 278,860 Indian students in Canada, 27% of all foreign students. 2024, intake dropped by more than 40%, source, IRCC plus Canadian immigration lawyers. Reason, cap on permits, housing crisis, and anti-India sentiment in politics. Carney has backed the Century Initiative, a plan to grow Canada's population to 100 million by 2100 through immigration. That could mean more opportunities for skilled Indian professionals, especially in healthcare, construction, and tech. But there's a catch. Carney's new immigration roadmap includes a cap on international student permits, net cut of 150,000 temporary residents by 2025 to 26, more scrutiny of private colleges, crackdown on exploitative work permit-linked visa systems. For Indian students, this means only top-ranked colleges and job-ready programs may secure permits and PR eligibility in the coming years. Khalistan influence may shrink as Jagmeet Singh exits. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the New Democratic Party and Trudeau's coalition partner, was seen in India as soft on Khalistani extremism. His defeat and decision to step down removes a key domestic political reason for Canada's silence on Khalistani activism. Sources in India's intelligence community say they are already noticing less public Khalistan-linked mobilization in Canada post-election, suggesting that space may shrink under Carney's rule. India has made it clear it will judge Canada not just on rhetoric, but on action against extremist elements that target Indian diplomats and missions. Trade deal talks could be back on track. Talks on the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and Canada were paused in September 2023. But the economic logic of closer ties remains strong. 13.5 billion Canadian dollars in bilateral trade in 2023. Indian sectors interested: IT, pharma, agriculture, clean energy. Canadian sectors interested: fertilizer, oil/gas, education, AI. Carney has publicly said that Canada must reduce its overdependence on the US. India, now Canada's 10th largest trading partner, could become central to that effort. What India will watch for next? India's expectations from Carney are clear. Visible action against Khalistani elements. Resumption of visa normalcy for students and professionals. Revival of trade and tech dialogue. Rebuilding trust at the diplomatic level, possibly with a Modi-Carney meet at G20 or UNGA. Carney's early moves, including reshuffling Canada's foreign ministry, will be watched closely. Diplomats in New Delhi say they're looking for substantive change, not just softer language. The India equation: what's at stake? 1.8 million Indo-Canadians, 5% of Canada's population. Nearly 1 million Indian passport holders living in Canada. 6.5 billion Canadian dollars contributed by Indian students annually to Canada's economy. Over 140,000 Indians granted permanent residency in 2023. Carney has the mandate, now India waits for the moves. With Trudeau out, Khalistan politics weakened, and a leader who sees India as strategically vital, New Delhi is ready to re-engage, but not without watching Carney's next steps. For Indian students, professionals, and families with links to Canada, the change in power isn't just about diplomacy. It's about getting their futures back on track. As Mark Carney steps into leadership, Canada's immigration and foreign policy enter a new era, one focused on strategic partnerships, economic sustainability, and renewed diplomacy. For Indian students, professionals, and families, the months ahead could bring clarity, opportunity, and perhaps a long-awaited reset in bilateral ties. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.